Welcome to the Dietitian Side Hustle Podcast. My name is Katie Dodd, and I'm a nutrition entrepreneur. I spent 7 years as a side hustler before diving into entrepreneurship full time. Before making the leap, I was bringing in 6 figures through my side hustle. If I can do it, you can too. This podcast is for dietitians, interns, and students who want to be inspired to start or perfect the side hustle of their dreams. Let's do this. Hello and welcome to the 104th episode of the Dietitian Side Hustle Podcast, Master's Degree or Blog Business. Now, I feel like this episode I've been rehearsing in my head for like a year. It's been one I've been wanting to talk about, to record for a long time. I just haven't gotten around to it, but I thought now was a really good time because I'm currently launching the 9th cohort of the Blogging Accelerator program. Now, if you've been part of my world for a while, you know this is my signature program where I help launch dietitians and RDs-to-be into the online space so that they can be making multiple streams of passive income without seeing patients. It's my favorite thing that I do, and I'll be talking to you guys more about the program throughout today's podcast episode. But I thought, my goodness, what better time than to bring this episode up when I'm currently launching Blogging Accelerator program. Now, if you do want to learn more about Blogging Accelerator program, website's easy, bloggingacceleratorprogram.com, or you can go to blogstrategycall.com to apply for a free strategy session with me. If you're like, Katie, I've been around for a while. I've really been thinking about this, so let's chat. And I will tell you guys, I love these calls. I love speaking to each and every one of you. Those who join the program, those who don't. I'm in awe of dietitians, what your big dreams are, what you're doing, what you're gonna do. So don't hesitate to apply for a call. Well, don't hesitate, and also know that if you're listening to this live, I have very limited spots. It's still summer. We still have one more little vacay we're going on, so I don't have a lot of spots. So make sure you act quickly if you'd like to. And I will say, if you are listening to this episode later and you're like, well, the doors are currently closed to Blogging Accelerator program, go to blogstrategycall.com and we can still hop on a call and chat about what your options are. So it's like never too late to get on a call with me. So, master's degree or blog business? Where am I going with this one? Well, I actually had an episode. It was episode 35. So way back when I talked all about, should I get my master's degree? And this is kind of like that conversation, but a little bit of a different angle, because we know that the master's degree requirement for dietitians is coming very soon. It is now right around the corner. So who I'm really speaking to is not necessarily the students who are currently in school. And, you know, because a lot of you are in the situation of, well, at this point, I probably am going to have to get my master's degree. But I guess if you're on the tail end and you're still in that in-between spot, I'm speaking to you too. But I'm speaking mostly to dietitians who have bachelor's degrees. So we know that about 50% of dietitians already have their master's degree, according to the Academy's Comp and Benefit Survey. And I feel like a lot of these dietitians I encounter who have bachelor's degree, they have a little bit of worry on their heart. They worry about, well, gosh, if the new requirement is for all dietitians to have the master's degree, should I get it too? Am I going to look like less of a dietitian? Am I not going to be able to, get the next job? If a position comes available, there's 2 of us, one of them has master's, I don't. Am I not going to get that opportunity? And there's a lot of worry about whether or not they should get their master's degree so that way they can compete within the field. Now, again, go listen to episode 35 if you want my opinion on it. I really do believe that who you are as a person, what you have to offer, how you compete for positions is so much more than one simple degree. So my quick opinion is no, you don't have to worry about that. There's lots of other pieces to the puzzle. But I want to speak to those dietitians, but also the dietitians who are thinking, should I go get another degree to make more money? Maybe you're thinking I should get my MBA, my master's in business administration, because I want to make more income. Or maybe thinking I should get my PhD. And, so I guess I'm speaking to you too. So whether or not you're thinking, should I get my master's degree in order to compete with other dietitians? Should I get a master's or a PhD in order to be more marketable? Like, should I do this? Again, my short answer is, if you're worried about competition, no. But I will tell you there's one reason on why you should get another degree. Because you want to. Now, if you've always had this dream in your heart of, I want to have my master's degree, I want to have my MBA, heck yes, you should do it. But if you take time to reflect and you realize I'm actually trying to get this degree out of fear, out of lack, out of worry, then absolutely not. You should not get the degree. But if it's something you want to do, totally do it. But I want to give you a different perspective in today's episode about what life could look like and what time could look like. Okay. So I'm going to do a comparison over two different paths. One path is getting the master's degree. One path is starting a blog business. And what I mean by that is you sign up to get your master's degree with a school, or you sign up with me and join Blogging Accelerator program and commit to building a blog business. So I'm going to kind of break it down to a couple main components. We're going to talk about the master's degree and the Blogging Accelerator program in terms of the length, the time, the cost, what life's going to look like, and then what you're going to have by the time you're done. So with a master's degree, I'm just going to say generally for most people, especially side hustlers who are already dietitians working full-time jobs, it's probably going to take about 2 years to get a master's degree. Now we know there are accelerated programs. We also know some people need to go at a slower pace, so they might be taking, a few less classes. It might take them longer. But on average, it's about 2 years. I went to franklin.edu, a website that has actually a ton of good resources about, going back to school and college. And they said that on average, students take 18 to 24 months to complete a master's degree. Some programs are geared so a full-time student can finish in a little over a year. On the other hand, some students prefer to go at a slower pace and choose to take several years to complete their studies. So again, there's a lot of variation. So Blogging Accelerator program, one thing I want to make really clear, and I feel like I've been trying to be more clear in my communications about Blogging Accelerator program, but it's more than a course. There are a lot of courses out there, and Blogging Accelerator program starts with a course. It starts with an 8-week course, but it is more than a course. Because blogging is a long-term game, it takes a lot of time to build a blog business. This program provides you, lifetime access, but continued support through an accountability program, calls. I'm going to talk more about it later, but Blogging Accelerator program is more than a course. So when you join, yes, 8-week course, but it's really building a long business, so there is no end to it. So let's put the comparison of 2 years for a master's degree, 2 years for Blogging Accelerator program. So you can take one path or the other over the next 2 years. Again, if you're going Blogging Accelerator program, goal is long-term. So this will be something that you create that will continue to, live with you for as long as you want to either A, do the work, or B, continue to maintain the website. So let's look at time. Now, again, this varies based on the program you're going into. We know that we know that for the master's degree requirement, you don't have to have a master's degree in nutrition. It could be really any degree. So I think that's why it was a little hard for me to kind of share some numbers as I'll be talking today specific to one type of degree, because we know that there's different schools. They charge different amounts of money. They have different programs. There's different degrees you can get. But time-wise, over that 2-year span, for the most part, again, this is going to vary so much, but your time week to week, let's look at that. So if you're taking 9 college credits per week, they always say, okay, for every 1 hour that you're in class, you should spend 3 hours studying, doing homework. Does everyone do this? No, but let's keep with the numbers of what we should be doing if we are signing up for the thing, right? So if you were doing 9 credits, that is, 9 hours per week, and then that would be 27 hours of homework, right? That's a good chunk of time. And I would say that's for a lot of people who are closer to full-time for their master's degree. But then if you're doing 3 credits, that's 3 hours a week plus those 9 hours a week for homework. So we're talking about 12 hours a week if you are doing 3 credits. And again, there's this whole variable, I would say, between anywhere from 12 to 40 plus hours per week that you're going to be dedicating to not just, class time, but also to your studies, to doing your homework, to preparing for exams, to, doing all the things that you have to do as a student. What's the time commitment for Blogging Accelerator program? Again, it depends, but my recommendation is if you choose to join Blogging Accelerator program, really commit to spending 5 to 7 hours per week on your blog business. Now, the way I've designed the course, remember it starts with an 8-week course, it is 5 to 7 hours of work per week. That is the time frame I've designed this program to be. So after you finish the program, the goal is to continue putting in that time, but creating blog articles, working on your SEO, which is search engine optimization strategy. So that way, it pulls people into your world, and then eventually creating income streams. So 5 to 7 hours a week with Blogging Accelerator program, or anywhere from 12 to 40 hours a week with your master's degree, again, depending on, right? But regardless, I feel like Blogging Accelerator program is less time. So let's talk about the cost. So again, the struggle with this was that there's a lot of programs, a lot of schools. But I did go to franklin.edu because, again, they had a lot of really great articles. And they said that the latest averages for completing an accredited master's program begins around $30,000 to $40,000 for a typical public or private school. Those costs can approach up to $100,000 or more for high-end graduate programs and that offer name-dropping prestige. So if you go to a fancy school, it's going to cost you a little bit more money, right? And again, depending on the type of degree you want to get, it can cost you a little bit more money. So I'm just going to say, on average, for most people who are going to go back to school to get their master's, we're looking at probably $30,000 to $50,000, right? Now, I did look up, just for kicks, I looked up a local, well, kind of local, but a master's program relatively close to me. Now, this program takes 22 months, close to 2 years. It requires about 50 quarter credits, so they don't really use the semester, they use quarters. And their tuition, this is just the tuition, was just under $29,000. So the thing we also have to consider for going to school, it's not just the cost of tuition, right? They're the student fees, application fees, textbooks, which I feel like you need a student loan just for textbooks, right? Different supplies, and there's all kinds of other fees that can be tacked on with being part of a student. But then also, you guys, we got to think about the time commitment. I mean, there really is a big time commitment for going to school. And one of my goals for a long time before I really got deep into entrepreneurship was that I wanted to have my doctorate by the time I was 40. So I wanted to be able to call myself a doctor. That was a goal I had. I wrote it down very early when I got out of school. I created all these goals that I wanted to accomplish for my career. I've accomplished pretty much every one except for the doctorate because I took it off my list. And I think for me, part of it was, when I worked full time, the VA has this wonderful program where sometimes they will actually pay for you to go back to school, which is really cool, right? I mean, to not have to pay that massive fee of going to school. But it's not just the money, you guys, it's the time. And I actually had two colleagues. One was getting her master's, the other one was getting his PhD. And I just remember watching them and just seeing how busy they were, how burnt out they were, how long the path to get this degree was. And I remember thinking like, man, I don't think I want to do that, especially not by the time I'm 40, because I've got some young kiddos and I want to be able to spend time with them. And that's a massive commitment, right? With going to school. And so I took it off my list. And I will say, as I got into being an entrepreneur, like 100%, I'm like not on my list at all. If I'm going to spend that much money, it is going to be in business coaching. It is going to be in online programs, learning skills that will actually make me money. We'll talk more about that. So that's another cost that I think we really can't forget and skip, is the cost of time. Because time is, in my opinion, infinitely more valuable than money. So, cost of Blogging Accelerator program. Now, my programs are high-end programs. They are not cheap. And the program does continue to change. But at the time of this recording, Blogging Accelerator program is $6,000. So, much cheaper than going to college, right? So, let's keep going here. Let's talk a little bit about what life would look like if you are working on your master's degree or working on your blog business. So again, this is different for everyone, but I just thought these were some really good parallels and things to look at and things to consider. So, thinking of life of getting your master's degree, you're going to be spending your time studying for classes, studying for exams, working on projects. In Blogging Accelerator program or building a blog business, you're going to be spending your time writing blog articles for your website. So if you're a student, you're going to have deadlines, right? You're going to have deadlines on, okay, this paper is due on this date, this test is due on this date. And sometimes those deadlines are tough when life happens because For a lot of people, they're still working full time. For a lot of people, they're parents. They have lives outside of all the things. So there are deadlines. And with those deadlines comes a bit of anxiety and a bit of stress. For your blog business, the only deadlines you have are the ones that you set for yourself. And we know those can be flexible. So if you are working on your master's degree, you probably are going to have either a thesis or a capstone project that you're working on. That's a massive, massive project, lots of time, lots of mental energy. In the end, it gets you a degree, but not much else, right? Where in your blog business, you could spend that time working on creating a product to sell, whether or not that is a digital good, some workbooks, an ebook, a course, a group program, making something that will provide value to people and continue to bring you in money time after time again. Passive income. So if you're working on your college degree and I mentioned, life gets crazy, you get sick, someone you love gets sick, issues happen in relationships, issues happen with finances, like a pandemic happens, right? Like there's so many things that can happen. And what happens if you get behind? What happens if you can't keep up? Well, if you're in a program where you're actively in classes with deadlines and times, if you get behind, you get left behind. And I mean, there's always options and workarounds, but it's probably going to cost you, well, of course, more time, but also probably more money. Blogging Accelerator program, if you get behind, that's okay. You have lifetime access to the program and it is there for you when you are ready. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. But let's talk about at the end. So we're talking about the end of 2 years. You have dedicated all this time, all this studying, all these things for your master's degree, and you now have the initials MS, MA, or whatever you're pursuing after your name. So what do you have in the end? You have the credentials. Now, everyone's situation is different. We do know from the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics Comp and Benefit Survey, dietitians with master's degrees do not make much more, if any, than a dietitian with a bachelor's degree. So, master's, bachelor's. I mean, it's change. It is not much money at all. We know that most places do not offer raises when you do get an advanced degree. So I know the place that I used to work with, they would give raises if you got a master's degree. However, things are changing. Budgets are tight. There's a lot of issues. I very recently had a friend working at the same place who got her master's degree, submitted her request for her raise, and was denied based on the budget. So it's not guaranteed that you're going to get a raise. Now, could it get you another job opportunity? Maybe. But as I shared in my previous episode 35, there's a lot of different things that you can do to make yourself more marketable beyond, this big thing of getting a master's degree. So in the end, odds are you're probably not going to make much more money. Again, if you're a hustler and you can figure it out, amazing. But I would say most cases, that's just not what we see. And in the end, you're going to have a student loan. You're going to have to pay back that money. So month after month, you are going to have a bill that you are paying back to that school or whoever you got the loan from to pay for that credential you got. Now, again, if this was a lifelong dream and something you always wanted, you have a lot behind it too, right? You're going to have the feel goods. You're going to have a lot of skills, a lot of takeaways. I mean, there is a lot of value of going to school. You guys, I got my master's degree. So I want to make sure I don't sound like I'm just completely bashing the master's degree here because, I have it myself. I'm so grateful I did. But again, this is for people who are, oh my gosh, I have to get the master's degree or else I'm going to seem like I'm a less than dietitian. So I hope you guys feel my heart in this, that I'm not trying to totally poo-poo on it. But let's talk about with blogging as a business with what you have at the end. Now, if you have dedicated 2 years to actually showing up and doing the work, right? Putting out content. We'll talk a little bit about what that looks like next, actually. I think that'll be helpful. But if you actually put in the work, you put out the content, you work on your strategies, you do all the things, at the end of 2 years, you could qualify for Mediavine, which is a high-end ad network. I haven't shared this yet. I actually just qualified for Mediavine on my second website. So you guys probably hear me talk about the passive income that my website, The Geriatric Dietitian, makes quite frequently. So I did start another, as soon as I qualified for Mediavine, again, that's the high-end ad network, which makes my website most of the money. And as soon as I qualified for that, I started a second website. And this was a website called High Calorie Recipes. It's a food blog. And I haven't had a ton of time to dedicate to it, but the sessions were finally high enough. I reached out to Mediavine. They said apply. And just this week that I'm recording this episode, I made it to Mediavine again. And I'm like through the moon, because that is another source of passive income, money that's going to come in month after month after month and only continue to grow as I build my website. So I feel like I forgot what I was talking about. I got so excited to tell you guys about this. But anyways, so I know what I was talking about. I was talking about what happens at the end of 2 years if you were to join Blogging Accelerator program, show up, do the work, do all the things. Say you qualify for Mediavine. Now, in order to qualify for Mediavine, you have to have 50,000 people visiting your website. I know it sounds like a lot, but I have over 100,000 people visiting my website, The Geriatric Dietitian, every month. Completely possible. And I built that up, when I was pretty much working a full-time job. Or I did build it up when I was working a full-time job, not pretty much. That is what happened. So if you qualify for Mediavine, there are a lot of different moving parts with how much money you make. I'm not going to go into the details about that. I do have a podcast episode called Making It to Mediavine. I don't remember the number, but I go into all the details there. But essentially, you could expect to be making $1,000 in passive income just through ad revenue if you make it to Mediavine. So end of master's degree, you have you do have some credentials after your name. You may or may not get a raise or be making more money. You will have student loans unless you are really blessed to have someone pay for that degree for you. You finished Blogging Accelerator program. You did all the work. You continued to build your blog business. At the end of 2 years, you could be in the situation where you're making $1,000 per month. So again, master's degree, you got a student loan you got to pay to every month. Blog business, you have a blog that's paying you every month. Do you see the difference, my friends, and why I'm so excited about it? But again, there are lots of moving parts when it comes to your blog business. And I will say there's more than just making money with a blog, right? It is being able to share an area you're so passionate about, to get it out there in the world, to share it with people, to make impact, to change people's lives, to make money, yes, but to also make impact. So I want to make that clear too. I know sometimes I lean heavy into talking about money, and it's not just about the money. I love the money, don't get me wrong, but some of the messages I get from people who are reading my blog articles, whose lives are being changed through these articles that I'm writing and putting online, and they're just out there for people to see, like, that's the meaningful part for me. That's what just gives me all the feels and keeps me driving and keeps me going. One of my goals, little tangent, one of my goals with the Geriatric Dietitian is I want 1 million visitors every month. That's my goal. I want more and more people to find out about this topic that I am so passionate about. And, I could go on a tangent for a long time about how passionate I am about geriatric nutrition, but it's an opportunity to share something you love and make money in the process. So I do want to talk to you guys actually a little bit about Blogging Accelerator program and what is included. And then we'll talk about kind of like what life could look like if you join, because we talked about what life will look like going to school and what it could look like with BAP. BAP is Blogging Accelerator program. Let's talk about kind of what this could look like. So let me see here. I actually wrote down, they call it a value stack, everything that's included so I don't forget, because I feel like when I talk about Blogging Accelerator program, it is so much more than the individual details. I think especially as dietitians, we want all the nitty gritty details. I tell you the outcome. The outcome is that it's going to launch you into the online space, making money through multiple streams of income without seeing patients, making money through, again, selling digital goods, selling ebooks, having courses, affiliate sales, ad revenue, so many different ways that you could make money through a blog. And I feel like I probably talk about that on different episodes. I'm sure you could find more if you dig back into my archive of episodes. But if you want to know what's the nitty gritty of what's included in Blogging Accelerator program, I will tell you right now. So remember, it starts off with that 8-week course. Now that is the course where you really dive deep and figure out, okay, what are my strengths? What am I good at? What do I want to do? Let me figure out what my niche is going to be. What am I going to focus on for this blog? So you leave that first week with confidence, like, okay, here's what I'm going to do in the online space. Week 2, you build the blog. Like, legit, you guys. I have a program in there. It's called the Fast Track Blog Builder, where you will have a blog, a website live on the internet in 1 week. It's not perfect. You'll have to go pretty it up, but it is live. It is on the internet. I feel like the blog posting it is like the hardest thing for people, because we get so worried that once we push publish on a website, everyone's going to see it. The reality is no one's going to see it. That's why we work so hard on our strategy to get people to come to our website. So getting that out of the way quick is like the best thing we could do. So in the second week of the course, you actually have your website live. And the next couple of weeks, you start learning about search engine optimization. And this is how you bring people to your website. This is how you build traffic. In week 5, we dive into, publishing your first article, but then also talking about important things for having a successful blog business. And that is working on time management. How do you find the time to do the thing? And working on your confidence and your mindset, being confident, pushing publish, embracing done is better than perfect. So you are not editing your article for the 10th time before you push publish. In week 6, we dive into really reaching your audience outside of the blog. So we talk about email marketing. We talk about social media. Week 7, we talk about all the different ways you can make money through blogging and, how to create those income streams. And then in week 8, okay, here's the plan. What are you going to do moving forward? So after that course, again, I feel like that's when the party starts. But what's included in Blogging Accelerator program? The course. Next are the tools, templates, and resources. Everything you need to build a blog business. My goal for people in the program is I want them to reach their goals faster, have less frustration, and really just have checklists and guides to help them do the thing. People have often told me, Katie, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. So that's what I do in the program. And it really helps you do it. You do have lifetime access to our members only community, which is like the coolest place ever. We have over 135 people currently in Blogging Accelerator program. Once you're in for life. And it is like the most amazing community. And it's really, really wonderful because they are mostly dietitians. We have students, NDTRs, a couple other healthcare professionals in there, but they're all on the same journey of blogging as a business, which can be so different from exclusively working with patients one-to-one, right? So it's this whole different world. It's a really positive, uplifting, amazing community of people who support and build each other up. So lifetime access to that. You also get access to my Beyond the 9 to 5 coaching course, which I sell separately. And that is a program I created to really help you get started. So you get access to that. I mentioned the Fast Track Blog Builder, which helps you build the website in a week. We have our blog accountability group, which is a really cool program that we started in June of 2022, so of this year. And it's something that really helps people with having accountability so that they can have success long term. I feel like joining a program sometimes can be easy. You're excited in the moment. You're like, yes, I'm going to do this. You sign up, then life happens. How do we maintain that motivation? And that's what the blog accountability group is to help people maintain that motivation. It includes some calls I'll mention in just a minute that we do every month. We have this really fun challenge where every article you write for a certain month, you share it in our Facebook group. And in the end of the month, everyone who submitted an article, or if you submitted 5 articles, that's 5 entries, but you get entered into a drawing. We put everyone's name in a fun spinny wheel. We do the spinny wheel and one person wins a $50 cash prize. So it's a really fun way to incentivize doing what you said you're going to do anyways. It's fun. It pushes you. It helps you to kind of build up and encourage each other to do it. But then it's like, why not get paid to do the thing you're going to do? There's another income stream right there just by joining. So, and then we also have a, accountability partners where people can tag up and have an accountability partner to go through not just the program, but go through their blog business together with, to have someone else to hold them accountable, to support them in their goals. And that way they can be a cheerleader for someone else too. So our accountability group is just huge. We also have a nutrition blog directory. This is a place where we feature, different bloggers who have completed the program. We offer 3 calls per month, 3 live calls, you guys. This is why it's more than a course. These are calls that we have every month. We have a Q&A call every month. As we solve one problem, we always have more. So, it's a program that will, or I guess the program really helps you as you're building your business beyond just the blog and other questions you have in other areas related to online business. So we have those Q&A calls. We also have these monthly guided blog starter calls. So these are really guided calls that walk people through getting a blog article started for each month. So that way a month doesn't pass and you're like, shoot, I didn't write it all. It's just a way to provide that accountability support and help you to get at least one blog article going every month. The goal is more, but one's better than nothing because sometimes we could blink and months go by, right? We also have a guest coach who comes in the group and she talks all about marketing, sales, and mindset. Because again, this program is more than just a blog. It is about a business. Mindset's everything. It is everything. But also learning marketing and sales skills are really important for continuing to build your business, again, beyond the blog, as you create income streams, as you continue to serve people, help people, all the things. So you get those 3 calls every single month. We also have an affiliate program. Our affiliate program is quite generous. So, I mean, really, just by joining the program, you're going to have an income stream. And so, an affiliate program just means if you get someone else to join the program, you get a pretty hefty commission. We also have an ever-growing bonus section. I love this community. If they have questions, if they're experiencing problems, I create new bonus content, new tools, new templates, new trainings, things to help them, and it's always growing. And then also, this was something that I added during our last launch, was my Something to Sell course. I sell this course individually for $1,000, but it really walks you through how to create a paid offering, how to do your market research, how to craft the offer, how to market and sell the offer, and how to fulfill the offer. So that's included. And something I've added this cohort. So the cohort that I'm launching right now, it's the 9th cohort. I've actually added my Build Your Brand Challenge. I ran this challenge live a few months back and it was really cool. It goes through I don't want to get in the details, but it goes through, figuring out your niche, creating an I help statement, a brand name, creating a logo, picking your colors, doing all that branding stuff that isn't super important, but a lot of people just want to do. They just want to be like, I just want to get this done. So let's create this. It's pretty much a very short challenge that'll help you knock that stuff out so you can get to doing the things that are really important in your business. But anyways, that's a bonus that's included with this cohort. So those are all the moving parts. Again, lots of different things that I think probably in the scheme of things, those individual details aren't so important as is, again, the big picture of you're going to be building a blog business. You're going to have the support you need to reach those long-term goals of making passive income through your blog. So I will tell you something that people need when it comes to having success, because I think a lot of people, this was me too. Before I started my blog business, I really considered trying to figure it out on my own, trying to do everything for free, trying to look stuff up online, watch YouTube videos. But had I done that, I wouldn't have had success. And I do experience some people who are like, I'm just going to do it on my own. And usually they don't, because what people need is, we need guidance, we need accountability, we need support, and we need tools. And that's what Blogging Accelerator program provides. So let's talk about what life would look like if you were to join BAP. And then you're like, what's this next 2 years look like? So again, we're not going to masters, right? We're not getting a master's degree. We are joining Blogging Accelerator program, and we are going to start a blog business. So what life would look like. Now, keep in mind, you would need to consistently work on your blog. 5 to 7 hours of work per week. Posting, I would say 3 to 4 blog articles per month, and working on your SEO strategy. Lots of things behind that. One of them is backlinks. There's a lot of important things you have to do, but if you are doing these things consistently, let's look at what the months look like. So month 0 to 2, you will be in the Blogging Accelerator program course. You will build your blog and learn all of the strategy. Months 2 to 8, you're going to join the blog accountability group. You're going to have an accountability partner. You're going to be showing up to the calls. You're going to be creating 3 to 4 articles per month. Month 8 to 12. Now's the time for you to join not join, you're already part of it, but to start the Something to Sell course. Because you're like, okay, I'm building traffic on my website. Now I want to create a paid offering. So you'll create your first stream of income and continue to post. Months 12 to 18. Now, I feel like sometimes this is the lull. This is where you have to focus on being patient, focusing on progress, being consistent, and understanding that blogging is a long-term game, but it is possible and you can do it. You'll be continuing to add additional income streams, continuing to post, continuing to build traffic. Then, if everything works out, months 18 to 24, you could potentially qualify for ad revenue and again be making a pretty good chunk of change, which would only continue to grow as you continue to grow your traffic. So one thing I want to add is that's like a picture perfect of what 2 years would look like if you were really put in the time, put in the work. But what if life happens? There's a quote that says disruption follows intention. And I found it to be so true. When we're like, I'm going to do the thing, all of a sudden all these things happen. You're like, what is going on? Life happens. We live in an imperfect world. It is full of ups and downs. And the thing about Blogging Accelerator program, and a lot of the reason I made it this way, I made it the way I made it is because I was a full-time entrepreneur, full-time dietitian, right? I had a full-time job and I was a side hustler, and I wanted to create something that people could do on the side. If you have more time, you can reach your goals faster. But I also wanted to make it a program that had lifetime access, that had support, that had everything people need because life happens. So if something happens in your life, you're going through that timeline we just talked about, it's okay, right? You have lifetime access to the program. So in Blogging Accelerator program, you are never behind. You are right on time, right where you're supposed to be. And if you need to take some time off because life is crazy, that is okay. You take it off, you hop right back in, and you continue with the momentum. So that is what I wanted to share with you guys today. I hope that was like a helpful comparison between master's degree or blog business. And again, blogging isn't for everyone. If you don't love writing, if you're like, I just want to work with patients, or, we all have a different side hustle we want to pursue. But if you're serious about, I really want to build a business based in blogging, I think a great way to think of it is like going to school, right? We are dedicating time, money, energy, all the things. But I hope the comparison I'm painting here is that Blogging Accelerator program costs way less, takes less time, and in the end, instead of you paying someone else, it'll be paying you. It's something you won't. And I won't even go into the details about eventually you could always sell your blog business and make some money that way. I'm not there yet, and I like to do the things before I teach them. But eventually someday I hope to sell a blog and be able to teach that to people as well. Sell a business, right? So I hope that this was helpful. And again, if you're just learning this, like listening and you're just kind of learning, you're like, oh, this is amazing. That's great. But if you're listening and you're like, I want in, Katie. I want to join the 9th cohort. Then I want to encourage you to go to blogstrategycall.com and apply for a call with me. Space is super limited, but I would love to talk with you, chat with you more about like, what are your goals? Where are you now? Where do you want to be? What's holding you back? And is this program the right fit for you right now? So thank you so much for listening. I hope that this was interesting, educational, got you thinking, maybe filled in a little bit of the blanks you may have been having about Blogging Accelerator program because I talked about the program a lot. But as always, I appreciate you guys so much for listening to the podcast. And yeah, if you're not already in our Facebook community, head on over to Facebook, search Dietitian Side Hustle, join our group. I go live in that group every Monday at 5:30. Talk about lots of different things. It's almost like a little podcast episode, but it's a great community. So if you're not already there, go join us. And again, thanks so much for listening. We'll chat next week. Bye, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you want to learn more about how we can work together, go ahead and go to www.katiedodd.com to learn about all of the ways that we can work together.